You ever see somebody just beaming shots and they don't seem to miss a bullet? Or if they do, it's one or two and then they're right back on and they just keep beaming you, even when they've got to reload in the middle of a gunfight. Yeah, I see this a lot. I've been on the receiving end of this a lot. And it's taken me a while to figure out why exactly everybody else seems to beam like this. And I've always struggled at it. Honestly, it's one of those things that when you break down how this game works and you start realizing there are so many mechanics that don't make sense logically, you start finding all these little niches and all these little things that make the game work in a way that can be easy to play if you know what you're doing. And so I want to talk about one of those things. And I kind of mentioned it as a problem inherent to aim assist in my last video. So if you haven't seen that video, stop now and go take a look. We'll wait. Okay, welcome back. Look, now that you've watched that video and you understand what magnetism is and why I think it's a problem, I'm going to demonstrate on my own clip as an average player how magnetism can really affect the game and really change the way that we play it. And it's not a good thing, to be honest. I think this is really bad for especially below average players or even average players, not because it helps them hit shots. And I'm going to talk about why they miss shots so often in a minute, but the fact that you just get deleted and you don't have a chance. And you don't have a chance because for a half decent player, they're able to use this mechanic inherent to aim assist to actually play way better than they are. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I want to run that clip back again. And I want to look at it. And then we're going to talk about how I accomplished this and why these shots and everything you see in this clip, none of it's me. I didn't do anything except point and click. But let's look at it again, a little bit closer this time. I want you to pay attention to how when I'm firing the gun, it sits on the person and it doesn't move. It just stays on them. And even when they're moving, it tracks with them and continues to land shots. Because most people will tell you, and I mean it, most people will tell you that what you have to do is you have to learn your tracking. You have to rely on your ability to track, your ability to fine tune, and being able to hit your shots is a skill. In Call of Duty, it's not really a skill. And this is true, let's be honest, for most first-person shooters. It's not, most modern first-person shooters behave this way. The skill on hitting your shots is not aiming. It's getting close enough that the computer systems can take over and do that last mile bit for you. Okay? So I say these, I show the gameplay, but I want to explain to you what I mean by I'm not doing anything. And it has to do with what are called dead zones. In first-person shooters with a controller, there's a thing called a dead zone. This exists generally to make up for the fact that a lot of controllers, that they're inconsistent. They're not 100% the same. It's not like, on this controller, I'm going to have the exact same thumbstick behavior as I will on this PlayStation controller or on any other controller that I have. Different tolerances, different builds, even controller to controller, you can get variances. And what that can do is it can lead to inconsistencies. It can also lead to stick drift. So they've created this thing called a dead zone. What a dead zone is that it basically limits or it limits when the game starts picking up input from your controller. So if I have my controller here, if I take my thumbstick and I move it just a little tiny bit, right? On a dead zone of 0, every little movement that I make here, the game will pick up. Now, if I say I'm going to set my dead zone to 90, that means any movement within 90% of the left-right transition of this, at 90% off center, the game won't recognize any of this movement. Not great, because you're not going to do anything, right? You're not going to get to move or rotate. You'll spend the entire game trying to turn in a circle one time because the dead zone is so small or so large. However, when you have stick drift or other issues, a little bit of dead zone is good because it means you don't accidentally knock yourself off target or pick up movement in the stick that you don't intend. Most people sit with a dead zone around 2 or 3. 3 is, I believe 3 or 5 is the default. In Call of Duty, other games, it may vary. The problem is the dead zone is kind of that magic window where the game is going to tell you what you're doing and you're not. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at dead zone overlays here. So the dead zone here, so this is my dead zone that I played with. Most people will play with a dead zone of 0 or like I said, 2 or 3. And if you look on my right stick, I'm playing on a dead zone of 10. Which means when you look at it, you see this little red ring right in the middle of that RS. Any movement within that space doesn't count. The game just says, yeah, I know you're moving your stick and I'm not going to do anything. Okay? So here's why that's important. With a dead zone of 10, if you look back at this clip, I have a dead zone of 10. I can't make these little adjustments, the little movement. The controller won't register the little adjustments that are being made when I'm shooting somebody. And it has to do with the aim assist magnetism. It's the idea that the game wants to recenter your crosshair within the aim assist bubble, roughly where you were before, and it wants to correct that to about the center of the bubble. Like that's where its kind of goal is. It doesn't automatically go there, but it tries to recenter it when you do things like recoil, when it does stuff like the character model moves, okay? And when you're firing, this magnetism kind of takes over. So in previous clips that I've posted on social media and I've looked at and in my prior gameplay, I always tried to keep my dead zone as low as possible. In fact, I went and picked this up and had Hall Effect joysticks put in to eliminate stick drift so that I could reduce my dead zone to 0. I wanted everything that I did to register in the game. So I could be the most precise and most accurate as possible. But what happens is when you do that, then I am fighting the magnetism inherent to aim assist. What's happening is I am actually ruining aim assist. I was browsing on TikTok, or I think it was TikTok, and just came across a clip of a guy demonstrating he had better aim and better accuracy. I don't know his name, I don't remember, but he had better accuracy with a dead zone of 5 than he did of 1. And it got me thinking, and I did some research and some looking at it. And sure enough, if you have a higher dead zone and you're not moving your stick to make these micro adjustments to stay on target, the game does it for you. These little adjustments, bringing the recoil under control, bringing the gun back to center, tracking as the player moves, I'm not doing any of that. I can't do that because my dead zone is 10. The little adjustments that I'm making in that clip, I'm not making them, which is insane. Like, there's no reason why I can't do that myself, and I shouldn't do that myself. And I have been trying to do that myself for years. But the best shots that I shoot are when I'm not doing anything. I just take my hands up and let aim assist take the wheel. It's ridiculous. And here's the problem. Most people are trying to aim themselves. They are. I have shown this clip to a ton of players who are at varying skills, but most of them a 2KD or better. And every one of them thinks, oh, you've obviously got a 1 or 0 dead zone, and you're gotten way better at your tracking. I haven't done anything except turn my ability to track players off and let aim assist do it for me. Now, if you've watched my previous video, you know that I know that aim assist is important, and I support aim assist existing. What frustrates me is this magnetism, this system that aim assist does that just recenters automatically on your target and corrects these small adjustments for me. And the reason it's frustrating is because for most players, they don't get to experience that. They will miss a ton of shots because they are overcorrecting and breaking the aim assist bubble. They are breaking out of it. They are missing shots trying to stay on target. But there's a ton of players who have figured this out. And whether they do it by just naturally not touching their stick or by changing their dead zone or some other trick, they will just beam players. One-on-one, they will hit more shots, more reliably, and they will win more gunfights because they do less. And then you have like the top 1% who it doesn't matter. They will just hit everything anyways. But for the majority of players, whom I'm going to probably say are 60 to 70% of the player base, you're losing gunfights because you're actually trying to aim. You're getting beamed because somebody is basically taking their thumb off the thumbstick and letting aim assist stay on target for you. That's the biggest problem that we have in this game right now, and why it feels so difficult to play it, especially if you're a lower skilled player. Because aim assist, this aim assist magnetism is too strong. We have to find a way, a balance here, where this magnetism system has room for error, and how you as a player, you have to come up with that last mile adjustment. And the reality is everyone's going to start missing more shots. Everybody's going to start missing more shots, which if you're not a great player is great because it means you get away. You survive longer. You get to keep playing the game. If you're kind of that middle to better tier where you're using this technique, you're letting aim assist do the work for you, you're going to lose out on a number of kills, on more kills than you are. But you're going to be talented enough to relearn how to hit those shots and be better at the game. Okay? And then the best players will just always be the best players. But for everybody who is struggling at it, I think this is your problem. You're trying to aim. And the reality is, you gotta let the computer do the work for you. Because this is the sort of thing that the game is designed around. And I don't know what the perfect answer is, but we gotta figure out a better solution than this, because otherwise everyone's just gonna get beamed all the time. And that's not as much fun for anybody. But you probably disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. And if you like what I keep posting, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, help me get all the way up to the 1,000 viewers and hit partner status on YouTube. That'd be great. Otherwise, I'll catch you all on the next one.